You've been doing your craft business for a little while now, so I'm sure you've gotten your feet wet in doing craft shows, haven't you? You haven't done a craft show yet? Okay, or maybe you want to do one and don't know where to start. Well, I'm going to share with you, this is part one of three, where we're going to talk about the small craft show, a medium craft show, and the larger craft shows. And then I'm going to share with you the types of inventory and how much to bring for each one. So, are you ready to get into doing craft shows? Let's start with part one, getting enough inventory for a small craft show. And what are small craft shows? Let's get started. Welcome to Queen's Rise to CEO, the podcast for women coaches and crafters on the journey to success. I'm your host, Talena Bacon, your go-to business strategy coach, supporting you on this adventure towards attracting clients and skyrocketing your sales. Picture this podcast has your cozy corner where I spill the tea on all things online business, from kickstarting your coaching or crafting journey to mastering organic marketing, client attraction, social media strategies, and so much more. Plus, I'll be talking about some of my coaching programs designed to help you create a strategy as unique as your business. With over 3 decades of experience, you can bet I've got some juicy stories to tell and insider secrets to share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or give me a follow, because when it comes to chatting about business, they say I've got the gift of gab, especially after a cup of coffee. So grab your favorite beverage, a pen, and some paper, and get ready to unleash your inner CEO. Let's do this. Hey there, so you're ready to do craft shows. So there are 3 types of craft shows, and I'm going to talk to you about the smaller craft shows. The smaller craft shows are the ones that you start to get your feet wet. You want to get enough customers to buy your product so you're making some money, but you don't want to spend a whole lot of money preparing to do the craft show, like the money it takes to actually participate in a craft show. Smaller craft shows are the ones that are high schools, community centers, little convention centers. Sometimes they have smaller craft shows. When I did mine first at a women's community. I think it was $50 for 2 days. That was a long time ago. So the first thing you would need to do is figure out, where do you find them? They're in your local area where you live, if they have those. Now, you may have to travel to get to a smaller craft show. Now, would I suggest it? It depends on how far. Now, if it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, okay, that's not too bad for a small craft show because you'll get your money back. But if it's further than that, no. For a small craft show, and it's at a community center, I wouldn't travel no longer than maybe an hour, the most. Now, I got to admit, there are some craft shows in Virginia that are small communities, but they're like $100 and something for maybe, I think, 2 days. Now, would I travel that far? Maybe, but that's because they've been doing it for a long time. Now, if you have a high school, a community, or elementary school that's doing their craft shows for the first time and they've only been doing it maybe a year or so, no, I wouldn't travel that far. Small craft shows, you want to make sure that your table space is at least 10 by 8, 10 by 10. 6 by 4 space, don't do it. I can tell you now, you don't have any room. If you think of a 6 by 4 space, you have to think of your table, your display, where you're going to sit, where you're going to accept the money, where you're going to put your extra inventory. 6 by 4 space, no. So if you come across a small craft show with a 6 by 4 space, run. You want at least an 8 by 8 or a 10 by 8 space, because this way you have enough room to get your inventory, and then you also have enough room to sit and collect money. That's most important, because it would be kind of awkward that customers are walking up to you with the products they're ready to buy, and you don't have a table to put it on, and you're not able to collect money. Those are the 2 safest spaces to get. Now, once you decide on that, you have to figure out your display, which I'm sure you've probably got a perfect display. But as time goes on, I give you one tip. that'll help you along the way. Make sure your tablecloth reaches to the floor. And let me tell you why. When you have your tablecloth reaching down to the floor, it goes straight to the bottom, and you can hide extra inventory underneath your table. If your tablecloth only comes halfway and you're trying to put inventory underneath, no, it truthfully it doesn't look professional. So make sure your tablecloth at least reaches the floor. Now you have your display. You figure out how much inventory you want to bring, right? You do know how much inventory, don't you? Okay. I guess I can tell you. Your inventory for a smaller craft show would be at least 8 to 10 pieces. Now, if it's a 1 day show, 8 to 10 is perfect because someone comes and they buy 4 items, you got maybe 6 items left. Or if you want to keep it just 8 items, you can just do this 8 items for a small show. And that's a 1 day show. Now, if you're doing a 2 day small show, you must have at least, I'd say, 12 items tops. And that would get you over for 2 days because if they buy up on that the first day, Sunday you still got some stragglers coming in that can buy up the rest of the inventory. And if not, you can always sell it on your website, your Facebook page, or your Etsy page. But 8 to 12 pieces of product is good. Now, you must also have a way to collect the email address. Trust me, it's going to help so much in the long run because, first of all, with the email address, you can reach out to the potential customers who's left the craft show, who might have forgotten the craft show a week or two later. So it's always good to collect the email address. Now, that's something I'll have to go into in another episode, but we are definitely going to talk about email addresses and how to collect them the right way. So we have our small craft show. It's for 2 days. Make sure you bring yourself something to drink. The reason why I started laughing was because I remember that I had to do a 3 day craft show and they gave you coffee and a donut. It wasn't good at all. Oh my God, so nasty. But it was free. And I didn't bring anything to eat or drink the whole day. So, needless to say, whenever I was able to get away, I was always rushing to the concession stand to grab something to drink or something to eat. So, always have something to drink, no matter if it's a 1 day or 2 day show. Definitely bring something to snack on. Now, when you have your inventory, I'm sure you know how to set it up. Some people use different types of displays, but you find a display that's of eye level. Some people put everything flat on the table. And let me tell you why that's not a good idea. If the booth is packed with people or people walking by and everything is flat down, how is anybody going to see it? Because if they're going by and they happen to scan your booth and everything's flat down, they have to come in to see your product. You don't want that. You want them to still have eye level so that if they walk by and they happen to glance over into your booth, they see your product. If you have to prop it up a little bit, make it at eye level so that it can be seen because if they see something, they'll be like, oh, wow, I want that. Oh, that looks interesting. And they're coming in your booth. I've made the mistake plenty of times of having things flat down on the table. And a lot of people didn't even know what I made because they didn't see it. They didn't know until maybe the next day when they were like, oh, you sell this? I didn't know. Reason why? It wasn't at eye level. And if it gets crowded with a bunch of people walking back and forth, they're not going to see everything if everything's flat down. So make your product at eye length so it can be seen. Now, what do you do when someone wants to do a special order? What do you do then? Think about that for a second. I'll be right back. Are you feeling drained from testing various marketing strategies with little to show for it? I've been there and know how challenging it can be. I used to share my posts across various Facebook groups and in every social media platform I could find, hoping to flood my inbox with orders and fill my client calendar. But reality hit hard when it didn't work. Instead of throwing in the towel, I revamped my approach, honed my strategy, and experienced a complete turnaround in my business. Now I'm thrilled to share the insights I've gained in No Money, No Problem. It's my free resource pack with 10 marketing tips tailored for coaches and creatives to increase sales, all while being mindful of your budget. This resource is for those ready to take actionable steps to get tangible results. To get your free copy, click on a link within the show notes below and kickstart your journey to marketing success. Now, back to the show. Welcome back. So, have you decided on taking special orders when you're at a craft show? Didn't consider that, huh? Okay. So, here's how we can do that. When you're making your 8 to 12 items or 8 to 10 items, put one item aside and let me explain. Let's say you've sold out at the 1 day show or the 2 day show and you sold out and you only have maybe one of each item. You can say you're taking orders. So then someone comes by and say, "Oh wow, that's beautiful. I like to buy that." And you can say, "Well, I'm out right now, but I can take an order." You can take their information, take a deposit. Please do not forget, take a deposit because someone can say they want it, you can make it and get ready to reach out to them to collect the money and they can say, "Well, no, I changed my mind." Then you've put in all that time and money into the product and they no longer want it or they forgot. So get the particulars, get their information, their address, let them know the full price and let them know it doesn't include the shipping because you remember in shipping it can change and I'm sure you've probably shipped out a few products and the shipping is always up and down. Trust me, I've had so many mishaps with shipping. So you take their information, you take their deposit and say, the price doesn't include the shipping and handling, and I will reach out to you once the product is ready to be shipped to let you know how much it's going to cost. Let them know that you do take credit cards or PayPal and that you take that order. So you keep that one item for special orders. You never know someone comes up and they say, "Well, I want that item and you don't have any, but if you take special orders, you won't lose that customer." So now you've made your 8 to 10 items for 1 to 2 day show, which is at a school or community center. Small, even churches do craft shows. And a craft show can be 1 day or 2 days. Now, how much should you spend on this craft show? I would say maybe $100, maybe 75. I wouldn't spend $300 on a high school, elementary school, community center type craft show ever. No, that's way too expensive. Unless that rest of the money is part of a donation for the school, they have to let me know up front. But $300 for a high school, community center, or church for a craft show, no, 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 no. They should run about maybe 100, tops. If it's a 1 day show, $75 maybe, 50. I've done a show that the show was $50 before and I made out like a bandit. So when you look for a smaller craft show, look at the price, look at how long they've been doing it. If they've been doing it a short period of time and it's like 2, 3 hours away, run. Do not do them shows. No. Now, if this smaller show and it's at a community center and they've been doing it 15, 20 years, they got a good reputation. They can charge maybe 150, $175. That's not bad. But 300, no, way too steep. You got to remember when you're doing a craft show, you got to put in your time, the gas to get there, the hotel, depending on how far it is. If it's local, you don't have to worry about a hotel, but also you going back and forth, you lifting tables, chairs, the whole 9 yards, getting everything set up, snacks, all that comes into play when you're doing a smaller show. No matter what show you're doing, you have to consider all of that. So be prepared that these shows sometimes you're not going to make money. I'm gonna have to be truthful. You're not going to make money in every show you do. I can tell you, I spent close to $500 for a 3 day show. I traveled 3 to 4 hours to the show. It was well known. I've been doing the show for a long time, a good promoter, and I sold nothing. But it was a springtime, and springtime shows are a little bit different than the fall and the Christmas. And during that time, I was known as the bunny lady. All they saw was I had bunnies. which I did have a lot of bunnies, but the customer saw nothing else and I made no money. So I learned my lesson because I just thought that with the spring craft show and it being big and it was going to be a lot of people and it wasn't a lot of people and there's a lot of mishaps behind it, like they didn't advertise like they're supposed to, and there's a lot of things you're going to come across when you're doing the craft show. And I think I might do an episode of all the ins and outs of all craft shows and give you all the tips of everything because it's a lot. But anyway, this is going to cover just part one of three. Now, this is for the smaller craft show. Remember, you must have at least 8 to 10 items, spend no more than maybe 100, 150 bucks, and make sure you don't have to travel far. And also have one item left out so you can take orders because you never want to lose a sale. So, are you ready to do craft shows? I know you're ready. I know you're going to have so much fun and you're going to make so much money and you're going to do great. Hey there, lovely queens. Thanks for tuning into my podcast. Before you go, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your podcast app. I'm dishing out loads of valuable coaching and crafting tips, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. Your thoughts mean the world to me, and having you as a part of my podcast family is truly special. Before you go, here's a little nugget of wisdom I want to share. Love what you do, and the money will flow. So go out there, pour your passion into your craft, and watch the abundance flow. Until next time, take care, and we'll chat again soon.